Hello, today my guest is Tony Hughes, who's a best-selling author and an expert in B2B selling and social media. Thank you, Tony, for agreeing to this interview.
Thanks, Peter. You're welcome.
Now, Tony, you've seen my research into 185 B2B organizations and their sales and marketing collaboration.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
Now, which of the findings did you find surprising, if any?
Probably the biggest thing that surprised me was the fact that more than 80% of organizations that had negative revenue growth were organizations where sales and marketing was disconnected. As I move around in the marketplace, I really see that as a common problem. Salespeople may not say it publicly in meetings inside their organizations, but you get them on their own and they'll tell you that they don't believe that marketing is effective. They think they spend a lot of money on fairly ineffectual programs. They certainly like the fact that they're the source of money to go to events and try and find leads and do some demand generation, but everywhere I go I just see that it's fairly dysfunctional.
And I think that the stats are pretty damning.
They are.
Yeah. So which of the findings resonated with your own personal experience?
Well, in your paper you made three recommendations, and the recommendation that resonated the most for me was the need to change the fundamental structure of an organization. Every company I go and work with, the thing I find is that there's no single executive that owns end-to-end customer experience.
Good point.
And I think customer experience is where it's all at today. So what typically happens is marketing are trying to do upstream demand generation and branding. Sales are trying to do prospecting and fill a funnel. The leads that come from marketing, generally salespeople don't regard them as being that good, and then they therefore don't follow up that well, or there's a disconnect with channel if they're selling through channels.
That's right.
And then when customers are won, they tend to get thrown over the wall to an implementation and customer support team who's trying to manage renewals. And in my view, if you look at the boardroom table with the general managers sitting around, there's no single person that owns customer experience. And I actually did a blog post a little while ago about how the CEO needs to change their title and their role and their job description to be Chief Customer Experience Officer, because really the CEO is the only common link to all of those pieces.
Where it all comes together. That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So given all that, what would you recommend to a senior executive or a CEO to do to grow their business in 2015-16?
Well, I'll approach it in a slightly different way. If I was the CEO of an organization that is disconnected, I would get my executives to read that book, The Challenger Sale, and I would issue a challenge to the heads of sales, marketing, service, support. I'd issue the challenge: how can we bring the organization together to support customer lifecycle, and how can sales and marketing work together to create some kind of game-changing value or provocative insight that sales and marketing together can work out how to go and take to market. Because the challenge with earning those conversations at more senior levels to go upstream and create pipeline really revolves around how can I create the right conversations at the right level.
So you don't think the sales and marketing alignment is quite there yet in most organizations?
Definitely not. Everywhere I look, sales and marketing is disconnected, and I think it's a massive problem, and your research paper identified that.
Yeah, okay. And do you think that's widely acknowledged?
No, I think if you talk to marketing on their own, they'll say that the sales team aren't selling effectively. They're not treasuring the leads. They're not prosecuting the leads effectively. And yet, if you talk to salespeople, they'll say that the leads aren't any good, that marketing is being ineffective. And to me, sales and marketing have to come together if you want to fix the dysfunction to drive profitable revenue, but also stop the leaky funnel problem of revenue leakage with unhappy customers. It's all around creating customer experience from the moment someone looks online for the things that they look for before they look for our brand.
That's right.
Through to them being happy and giving referrals and renewing.
And who should lead that initiative, do you think? Should it be sales or marketing or somebody else?
It should be the CEO. I know years ago in the USA there was a lot of talk about the chief revenue officer was going to sit above sales and marketing.
Yes.
I haven't really seen that happen in hardly any organizations, but I think the CEO needs to step into the breach and say, I'm responsible for creating the right culture in our organization, a customer-centric culture, and I'm going to build a team that works together to create great customer experience.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Peter.
All the best.